Welcome to Comedians Interviewing Musicians. You're listening to the audio version of the live streaming podcast from Austin, Texas. This is Season 4, Episode 55, recorded on September 18th, 2018, live from the Tequila 512 Casita with host BeckiJo Neill and Claude Ramey. Our musical guest is Tom Meny. But first, we have a not-so-secret little club to tell you about, where you can get access to exclusive content, merch, your own spotlight on the show, and of course more for as little as $1 a month. Join our community of patrons that make this show so possible. Sign up at CIMP.live. That's CIMP.live. Thank you for supporting live music. And remember, give the podcast a 5-star rating. Every rating helps these artists get discovered by new fans. And now, brought to you by Music Firsthand and their live music booking app, here's Comedians Interviewing Musicians.
You're live from the 512 Tequila Casita.
Tequila 512.
Tequila 512. I don't even know. Apparently, I've had some. My name
good.
is BeckiJo Neill.
I'm Claude Ramey.
Thank you for joining us on Comedians Interviewing Musicians. We have a very special guest tonight. Would you like to introduce our guest, Claude?
I would love to. Go ahead and give a round of applause for our musician tonight, Tom Meny.
Woo, woo, woo.
I'm a simple man, it's a hard place to start. I wanna get on your radar, make my mark, and I can take it slow, or step it up. Wanna learn your hopes and dreams and the things you love. And then when you're ready for a little just open up your mind so I can stand a chance, and I'll bend over backwards for you. Bend over backwards for you. I wanna take you to my favorite place. There's a dancing bear, bright lights, and an old arcade. No, it don't cost much, that ain't what you're after. You just need a little understanding and a lot more laughter. Then when you're ready for a little romance, just open up your mind so I can stand a chance, and I'll bend over backwards for you. Bend over backwards for you. And if you're taking applications, positions of the heart, here's my resume, girl. Let me know when I can start. Let me know when I can start. I'll bend over backwards for you. Bend over backwards for you. Bend over backwards for you. Bend over backwards for you.
I heard that little riff in there. I heard that. There was soul there. Thank you. Thank you so much, Tom. Thanks again, 512, for having us at the amazing Casita. I hope you can see the floating unicorn and the swan in the back.
I really wanted to have people swimming in the background so we could pretend we're MTV VJs.
Okay.
Oh,
We have takers.
I mean, I don't own the place, so yeah, hop in.
We're going to keep talking, and all of a sudden it's just going to be like some dude soaring into a belly flop in the background. I'm like, there we go. I thought, honestly, the unicorn and the swan, like we were both talking about it, like unicorn, swan.
Team
They knew.
Swan. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Scott, for having us here. He was at the bar pouring some delicious tequila and also 9 Band of Whiskey. Shout out to them as being our sponsor as well.
Yep.
Tom, thank you so much for joining us on this particularly beautiful afternoon.
It's my pleasure.
You were earlier tuning and setting up, but in your bio you talk about non-standard tuning.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't tune my guitar like most folks. and it's probably boring for people that don't play guitar. But most people have standard E tuning, and I use what's called a double drop D tuning, which is these two strings are tuned a little lower than normal, so I can have a little bit more of a bass note in my chords.
But all the rest of the strings are the same note they would normally be?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Correct.
Okay.
Non-standard.
Yeah.
Fancy. I just
Non-standard.
had to figure that out. I know.
I was wondering that
virtually
too,
nothing,
yeah.
but
It sucks when you're in a band and you're trying to explain to them what chords when you don't know the chords and they can't look at your fretboard and see. But
Yeah. You just have to be difficult. I get it.
Speaking of bands, like plenty of musicians that we've had on the show before. You just did a show with Jamie Harris. We've had her before, and yep, shout out to Jamie Harris. We love her. But also, you're good friends with Ray Prim. And before we have this little moment, like I don't know, y'all might be friends with him or follow them. Like this was a really funny thing that happened this week. But do you have any questions that you want us to ask him when we interview him at the Velveeta Room next month?
I would say ask him while he was in London. If he enjoyed the famous breakfast tacos.
I was so hoping. I talked to him about this before this. Will you tell Facebook and the world how you trolled Ray Prim, the great, amazing, talented Ray Prim, but very vulnerable
Get
and
Zach
gullible?
Brooks to ask him that, and he won't. Don't tell him what the backstory is.
Oh, yeah, and just get him yelled
Yeah.
at. Oh, please. Please tell the world what happened about the breakfast tacos, please.
Well, Ray Prim, if you don't know, is a local...
Zach Brooks, stop watching. I want it to be a surprise.
Precursor.
He's a local singer-songwriter. He also has a band, like a 7-piece band, very incredible band. But he's a good friend of mine, and he actually took me under his wing many years ago and got me to start playing shows. And but we've become good friends, and so I played a little prank on him. And we do that from time to time. But he happens to be in London, and he texted me very early a few days ago and was telling me about this. I don't remember the district, but some location in London. And for some reason, I told him that particular location is very famous for their breakfast tacos. And and to make it more real, I was like, but they don't use tortillas, of course. I was like, of course.
Yeah.
They use some kind of crispy bread. And then I made a post on Facebook, and I told all of our mutual friends to, ask Ray where he's at. And then when he tells you, tell him, man, have you seen the Anthony Bourdain special that when he was there and he had the breakfast tacos? So Ray was looking for breakfast tacos in that area for at least a day. And I it's magnificent to think about the look on their face when this American's asking them
With the
about
crispy
where
bread.
where's the
It's
breakfast
a taco
tacos?
with crispy bread. Oh, I wanted to message him, but he's going to be on the show, and I didn't want him to hit me when I got there. No, that would have been super great. Speaking of working or knowing other Austin musicians, how important is it to you, I guess, to like have a sort of community where you work and produce music?
Well, this is a good example of that. I mean, I'm on this show, I believe, because of somebody that was on here before. And I don't know who it was, but I know like 4 people who have done this show. And I think maybe somebody referred me or whatever. But it's things like that are what make a community like this important. Mm-hmm. And, there's more than one circle of musicians. Like I'm more of a singer-songwriter-y. They would throw me in kind of a folk Americana if they had to throw me into a circle. And so there's that circle, but those circles all kind of overlap with other circles. So, for the most part, I know quite a bit of the musicians in this town, and we share venues and share booking information. And when, if I think this person would be great at that venue, then I refer them or recommend them.
Friends.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody who's come through here has been like, oh, yeah, I knew so-and-so was on your show.
Yeah.
It's a very tight-knit community.
Yeah.
You also run a podcast about singer-songwriter.
Sometimes.
It's like dabble in it.
What was the name of that podcast again? I forgot.
The Tom Meny podcast? The Tom Meny singer-songwriter
That
podcast?
was it, yes. I always forget.
The great.
The Tom Meny singer-songwriter podcast. Okay.
Claire.
Very few episodes, but when something strikes me as important, then I share it. But I'm not funny enough to sustain a podcast for
There are plenty of unfunny people that sustain podcasts.
But when
That's
I
the
have
tea.
a good topic, I'll share some info. Yeah.
What's it like? What does it have to be a good topic for you?
I a couple years ago started to notice that people don't buy CDs a whole lot anymore because they don't have cars with CD players anymore, and laptops don't have CD players anymore. So I started buying USB drives and putting all my albums on those. And so I did a podcast on which ones are the best prices, how big of a CD, how big of a thumb drive you need, how to load the files onto it, and how to, kind of talk them up during a show.
That's a really tough thing about just listening to music now, because like so many things don't have a CD drive. Used to, you would buy a CD and that would be yours, but now to buy it through iTunes or through Google, like it's still like owned by a corporation.
Right.
Like you're
And
sort
it's
of
also
like
not
you're
tangible.
like renting an MP3 from Apple.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like tangible on all your devices, but it's not. It's still like floating around. You're just like, shoop,
Yeah.
baby got back. No, that's not. I don't know why that
You
was
paid
the
99
first.
cents for Baby Got Back on iTunes.
Did anyone voluntarily pay for? No. Did you have any like really, really funny, awesome guests on your show?
No, I did. This is my second go round with this podcast. It's actually I had like 14 episodes and I scratched them all and started over. But the only guest I ever had was Ray Prim.
That's the only guest you
Nobody wants to
have.
drive to Buda, so.
Drive to Buda. Well, yeah. What is it like? I guess like you're from Buda.
Right. Well, I'm from Austin, but I've lived in Buda the last 8 years.
It's only 15 miles away from downtown Austin.
Yeah.
I was Googling Buda trivia, like researching for this interview.
Claude is Google trivia.
Yeah.
It's true.
If you have trivia for me, I know.
Oh, yeah,
all
we'll get
about
to
Buda.
it. Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh. After the show, Facebook. Speaking of Facebook, if you would like to ask any questions, please feel free to type them into the web box with the thing and the typey numbers.
It pops up right from here, right on here.
Facebook is always a cloud.
It's so empty right now.
It's true. Talk to us. Any like terrible like bad things happen on the podcast other than scratching them all? And 100 years from now, they're gonna be like, we've uncovered these 14 episodes.
No, that's the cool thing about
100 years from
podcasts.
now, like that's what they dig up.
Yes.
These
Well, why not? What else are they
rejected
gonna dig up?
podcasts. Yeah. I guess
Fidget
not.
spinners? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like disgusting elements of human culture. Like no,
I
find a good
recently
podcast.
bought a fidget spinner.
You recently bought one?
As merch. It was somebody's merch. It's like, fine. Well, this is my time to
That's
buy a
smart.
fidget spinner. But yeah, that's the cool thing about podcasts. You know, especially if you do it by yourself, you have total control, and it never happened if you don't want it to happen. So.
Well, follow-up question, because you were saying someone was doing fidget spinners for merch. We actually have a question. If money was not from Facebook,
I was gonna ask this.
but if money was no object and you could create any type of merch for your fans, what would it be?
I don't know.
What?
have
There's
no-
so many markets you could just.
I mean,
my
inflatable
fans.
unicorns.
They're doing well,
Yeah.
clearly.
They look like they're trying to avoid us. I'm not taking it personally, but
They didn't sign the disclosure. To
oh,
be
that's
off
why.
camera.
Okay. Anyways,
I
you had
don't-
time to think.
I
Now
don't know who. I need to know who asked that question because I
Oh, Chris.
oh, okay. I
We
don't
develop
know.
fun
I'm
ones.
glad you knew. I was like, I don't know. It's in the little thing. I just do what it tells me.
You know, I really haven't thought a whole lot about merch. Really,
Yeah?
I don't have shirts. I've never had shirts, and I've been doing this like 8 or 9 years. I've got 3 CDs out. Shirts are probably a good idea, but in a fantasy world, if money were no object, what kind of merch would I?
Oh, don't guitars have like a little clip you can put on the fret to change the tune?
Like a
capo?
capo?
You could
Maybe a
make one of
cheap,
those that turns it into your janky tuning.
The janky tuning.
There
That's
you
a better
go.
way of
That's
saying
the
it.
not technical
Non-standard.
terms. I'm sorry, but
The weird tuning. No, I
the
like
double. What was it? The double D.
Double drop
Double
D.
D.
Double drop
Yeah.
D.
that.
Yeah, double
Sounds
drop D
Dirty.
capos.
That. Right. There's a whole market on that one.
Yeah.
You can double drop D and then they click on your
Double
website.
drop
and you're,
that D.
Yeah.
Get
I don't
doubledropd.com and just how many people are like, this isn't what I was looking for.
Yeah. That's totally true. I mean, I have stickers of me in a ranch bath. Like, I hope people think that it's something that it's not and then click on my website. That shit gets clicks. Speaking of social media presence, is that like important to you? Is that
It is. I'm because I'm kind of a needy person. I mean, I think it hurts me in some ways, though. Like for some reason, I think when you think about bands that were really successful back in the day, at least back in my day, you guys are all young people, but you'd have to stand in line all night to get tickets for a concert, or stand in line all night to get a CD or tape. And when I was young, like I would wait for magazines to come out so I could read about my favorite band or whatever. But now everything is out there, and it makes you less like of a mystery to people.
Yeah.
So I think I hurt myself because I post way too much, and it's always bull crap. It's just silly blah. And I think after a while, people, they get too familiar with you, and so they don't take you as seriously. But it is important. You know, you have to promote, and that's really the way you do it. Some of the venues around town require. I'm getting eaten up, so if I'm not like twitchy or anything, I'm not having some kind of reaction.
Like
but they require that you do social media when they book you. So very important.
We have the rescue.
Sweet.
There we go.
Is there deet in this? All right, I'm going to give you guys that are watching a very, very cool lesson if you play guitar. Deet eats through the guitar. And I had a very expensive John Mayer Martin guitar that I ruined because I didn't know that. And I sprayed deet, and there was just these little pock marks that you couldn't get out. But
wait,
we
guitars?
put that on our skin.
Guitars specifically, because they're made of wood. Like wood's everywhere.
Anything with like a finish.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No,
So
the
I'll
deet just has it out for music. It's like, latte.
Yeah.
This is a neighborhood. Yeah, it's the footloose church dad of bug sprays.
Pesticides. I don't know what metaphor we're going with.
Who knows? Would you like to sing a song?
I sure would.
Give it up 512 for Tom Meny.
All right, so let me tell you the story of this song. This is we're talking about Facebook. So this is a song that came out of a Facebook fight that I had a few months ago or several months ago, kind of around the election time, but it wasn't regarding politics. And this fight, the last kind of few lines of the post was somebody calling me creepy. And it wasn't someone I knew. It was like a friend of a friend. And I try so hard to not be creepy, like for hours a day. I think about that in ways that I can not come off creepy. And so it kicked me in the stomach. And I didn't go out and say, hey, I'm going to write a song about this. It just kind of happened. And when I was thinking about it, the idea of one of the very famous murals in this town kind of popped in my head, and I merged the two things together and made this song. So there's a little kind of a shout out to artist Daniel Johnston. Some people say that I look funny. I must not be from around this place. Got purple skin and buggy eyes, and I'm from outer space. I'm from outer space. Their heads are down as they cross the road. I feel like I'm just wasting smiles. And no one said a word at all. And I've been wandering round for miles. I've been wandering round for miles. Oh, where I come from, we won't ignore that you exist. This could have been your worst day. When our paths cross, I will always say, hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Yeah. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Know I look a little scary. My arms are long, they touch the ground. I use these arms to hug my son and daughter and my mom and my dad when they're in town. cross me on the street. I promise I don't mean you any harm, no. That has everything to do with how I was raised. 'Cause I got Southern Martian charm. I got Southern Martian charm. Oh, where I come from, we won't ignore that you exist. This could have been your worst day. So when our paths cross, I will always say hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Yeah. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Makes all the difference in the world. Makes all the difference in the world. Makes all the difference in the world. Makes all the difference. Thank you.
All right, keep it going. 512 for Tom Meny. Gorgeous. I like that. Just a quick shout out. We have some patron VIPs in the house. I do believe we've got Ray, Dan, and Sharon. A shout out to you. Thank you so much for showing up. We love you so much. Then we also have a small shout out to Shannon Curtis. We were talking about her before we got on here. She's involved somewhat, and she's a good friend of Chris's and the show. Shout out to her. Appreciate you.
She's a badass.
Yeah, like total badass. Like, what did you call her? The Godfather of house concerts?
Of house concerts, yeah.
Do you, like, you're playing in, according to your website, an unknown venue in a couple of weeks? Is
Those
it
are
like
house shows, yeah.
the house shows?
Yeah, you can't really, although they're house shows, some of them are very well known.
Yeah.
Like they're a series, so they'll have really, really good artists come in, but they can't advertise publicly because of the royalty companies, ASCAP and BMI. So when you see on an artist's private show, it's because they're playing a house show, and those are the best. I mean,
right.
House shows are the best.
Why do you? What is your reasoning behind?
Well, in my genre, man, I am getting toe up.
I know my legs look like some sort of medical condition right now.
In my genre, the average age is a little higher, right? So the people that want to come see me don't necessarily want to go to 6th Street for sure. And really not Rainy Street either, and my music isn't conducive to those kind of environments, so listening rooms really are the best for me. So a house show, some of these houses are beautiful and they fit 50 people or 100 people. I've played 180 house show before. Some of these people get so serious that their house is constructed as a venue. It's like the bottom is a venue and the top is a house, and the guests, the musicians, get to stay in the house, and the hosts go to their other house, right? But the people that
good
come,
for them. Okay.
Yeah.
the people that come are very engaged. They're there to hear music. Usually there's good food. Either they'll cater it or there'll be a potluck. But for the artist, if there's a $20 to $25, I've played a $35 suggested donation at the door, and you got 50 people that show up. Well, that beats me playing some bar downtown where there are 8 people that paid $5 to get in.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
So I just love the connection. I love that they sign up. Usually they'll buy a CD or something, but they'll sign up on my mailing list, and they are actively involved in following me where I go.
Yeah.
So.
Do you have any, like, I know you played a lot of like house shows, but you've also done like Kerrville, and you're doing Dripping Springs in October. Do you have any like festival hacks, like those annoying things you see on
Festival hacks?
Yeah,
is
like
the best way to survive this
or
whatever. Okay, so Kerrville, Get a hotel, right? Don't be a hippie, right? I always get a hotel in Kerrville. I love those folks, though, but it's way too hot. Every year it rains and floods. So when it's not hot, it is flooding. So I just jump in my ride and go 15 minutes down the road. But Kerrville is really cool. I never thought that I would be a Kerrville type person until I entered this new folk competition a few years back.
Yeah.
Because I didn't think that I was a folk person, but really the umbrella of acoustic music, all of that is Kerrville. So you don't have to be Peter, Paul, and Mary. I mean, there are great, like Jamie Harris, is not that. Is like Kerrville's newest daughter. Like, they just love her, right? So if you're going to Kerrville, my suggestion is get a hotel. Dripping Springs is an awesome new Songwriters Festival that's happened. This is the 5th year. It's the 5th year that I've been in it. It's cool because you can drive there and drive back home in 40, it's a 40-minute drive from here. But you'll see 40 different singer-songwriters from around the world. And it's free, so can't beat
why
that.
the hell not?
Yeah, you can't beat that. And it's in October, so it's usually not 100 degrees.
Usually.
Yeah.
Well,
could be.
It could be, but it's not usually.
Right.
You're also good friends with Wendy Kalana, who's been on the show?
I played her house kind of series. They have a Tips concerts. That's a cool gig.
It is. Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
Plus, I follow her for her music, and also her baby's adorable. If you don't already follow her on Instagram, whoo, that's a cute baby. Yeah. Do you have any funny Wendy stories? I always like to hear about these.
Well, what's cool. So I didn't really know her. I knew of her, and then I live in Buda, and then I found out like her and I have been living right down the street from each other. This whole time I've been off the mic. I guarantee nobody that's watching on Facebook has heard a word I said, and I just realized that. Anyway, I don't really have any great stories yet, but there's still a lot of time
to be
for that.
Continued, right? Someday. Do you have any dream unconventional venues you'd like to play?
Yeah, I would love to play someday, somehow, the Paramount, but. Ooh, yeah. I know the reality of that. It's like somebody that I know is going to get a gig there, and they're going to say, hey, maybe you can sing background vocals with 9 other people. That may be my only way to do it, but I'll take it.
I mean, why not? Ride the coattails. Yeah. If you're going to go for it.
Do it.
Right.
Who cares? Would you like to sing a couple more songs for us?
I sure would.
Solid. Give it up, 512 for Tom Meny.
All right, let me think about this. All right, so a few years back, I was working, and at the end of my work day, I wasn't feeling so hot, and it wasn't like your average not feeling so hot. It was something that I knew that I needed to get to a doctor, real quick. So I drove myself from Buda to Kyle, which is about a 7-minute drive, and I got to the Seton Medical Center there, and they kept me there for about 8 days. And while I was there, they gave me a nice little open heart surgery. And when I woke up, I couldn't feel my hand, and I couldn't talk because they had a tube down my throat. And when you have that kind of surgery and they put one of those incubators in you, I think that's what they call them, when they pull the tube out, you can't just breathe normally again, even if you've only been out for 8 hours. It takes weeks to get your lung function back. But also it took me about 6 weeks to get the feeling back in this hand, so I wasn't sure if I was going to play guitar again. But after I regained my lung function and my feeling in my hand, I wrote this song. They tried to take me back in the summer of 13. They opened up the gate. I told them I'd be late. I knew this always happened. All right, what is it? Damn. Usually if my dad's in the crowd, he can help me. Man, that's embarrassing. Huh? He might be. If you're on there, Dad, type something. maybe I should just do a different song. Yeah, it's not coming back. That's happened to me like 4 times in my long career, and it's always on this song.
Do you think there's something like important about that song that makes
I will say this is a good story. So one day I'm singing this song at a house show in Dallas, and one of my childhood friends is sitting not too far from me. And so I get to the chorus, and I look up, and this is a guy that I played football with, and he's a big, tough guy. And I look up, and he is bawling. I was playing this show with Jamie Harris. She's sitting over here. And when I saw that, I lost it, and I just couldn't continue, and it really choked me up. This is right now isn't as cool as that story, because there's no particular reason why I think I forgot that lyric, because I just played this song. But yeah, it's my mom loves the song. When she's at my shows, she wants me to play that song, which I can't understand, because it was definitely a hard time for her. Gosh, the lyric is right on the top of my tongue. Let me play something else. Is that all right?
That's fine. Yeah.
All right, so San Antonio, Texas. My buddy Ray Prim got me this gig when I first started out, and it was my first solo out-of-town gig where the crowd was not made up of all of my friends and family. And so I went to this gig, and it really kicked me in the stomach, because it was the first time I learned about being background music. So I have all these sad personal songs that I want to sing, and nobody cares because the Dallas game is on right behind my head. So if you ever go to this particular, there's a pizza joint in San Antonio, and it's across the street from Sam's Burger Joint. So I won't name it, but if you ever go there, my soul is in the corner of the room. Ready. My guitar is in tune. There's a chair and a tip jar in the corner of the room, and that's where I'll pour my heart out to this drunken crowd. So hard to play, 'cause it's so damn loud. Nobody's listening to the songs I do, 'cause if they were, they would know they're all about you. And I struggle with pride get through the night. I sold my soul 'cause the money was right. Yeah, the money was right. And I spit out words they'll never hear. I've covered joy, I've covered loss, and I've covered fear. Nobody's listening to the songs I do. If they were, they would know they're all about you. It's a lonely night in this crowded room. It's a lonely night in this crowded room. Nobody's listening to the songs I do. 'Cause if they were, they would know. If they were, they'd know. If they were, they would know. They're all about you. Thank you. One more? All right. All right, give me a second here. I got a special song for you guys.
You were saying earlier about how you didn't really consider yourself necessarily folk, and before that, like you didn't consider yourself necessarily, I think it was Americana. Do you think you worry about those labels? I'm going to be a little therapist for a minute. Do you think you worry about those labels more than other artists, or are you just more candid about those concerns?
I think every artist that you ask will have the same response. They don't know what they are.
Uh-huh.
And we're always looking for someone to tell us where we fit in, which, if there were record stores still, which category our CD would fall under. I don't think I worry about it more than any the next guy, because we talk about this stuff when we're in our bat cave, musicians' bat cave.
Cool. That was just supposed to be like chat while you tune, but I think you're tuned up now, right? I didn't mean to turn it into a whole thing.
Are we good? A coach out in North Texas once gave me a call. Free education just to play ball. Hurt my knee in the playoffs, I'd be out through next fall. The coach at North Texas stopped taking my calls. So I took a class and I learned computer. Landed a job, help desk troubleshooter. No, it didn't pay much, but I was a trooper. If I worked real hard, I'd have a bright future. A recruiter at Google once gave me a call. I'd have a career with stock options and all. There was one other candidate, degrees on a wall. The recruiter at Google stopped taking my calls. So I packed my bags and I packed my acoustic. Then I moved to a town that is known for live music. Learned a cover or two, I know how to do it. Now I write my own songs, there's nothing to it. Records once gave me a call. I thought I'd made it, but the deal fell apart. Now there's holes in the bedroom walls and holes in the hall. Capitol Records stopped taking my calls. Folks at Music Firsthand, they gave me a call. Talk to BeckiJo and Claude and sing a few songs. I headed down I-35 to Ben White and Southford. I'm at Tequila 512, quenching my thirst. Thank you.
That last stanza was really prophetic. That's just eerie. All right, so BeckiJo Neill is actually performing at Esther's Follies right now, which I didn't kill her. If you're watching on Facebook, she's there performing right now. She's there all the time. So I'm taking over for the last leg. I like to do a little segment called Claude Goes on a Tangent. And sometimes it starts with trivia, like related to the artist. I went on a special tangent because, I don't know if y'all know this, but this last Sunday, September 16th, the entire nation of Mexico celebrated my birthday. It's also Mexican Independence Day. Who's to say which one? But that and our location at Tequila 512 today, I decided I was going to ask you some trivia questions about Mexico.
Okay.
You don't win anything. I don't know. I just like researching trivia. So my first question, the Mayans, one of the original civilizations in Mexico, they are known for being a very advanced and sophisticated civilization. What surprisingly effective yet juvenile weapon were they known for using in battle? Was it A, really obnoxious music, B, poop, C, throwing bugs?
I want it to be poop.
We all want it to be
but
poop,
I
know.
Think maybe throwing bugs.
That is the correct answer. They would throw hornet nests.
Ouch.
Nature's Molotov. That's what I like to call it. My second question. Pedro Jose Domingo de la Calzada Manuel Maria Luzcarain Paredes, as we all know, was the 34th president of Mexico. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. What historical record did his presidency set? Was it A, the shortest term a president ever served, B, the longest name a president ever had, or C, just generally considered the least attractive president ever?
B.
What was B? I wrote the damn thing. I don't even know.
Name.
Longest name? It is actually A. He was president of Mexico for 1 hour.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, dreaming big right now. Yeah, he actually, there was a coup from a general who threw out the president, and Jose, or I forget which name was his first name, Pedro, we're on a first name basis, was the secretary of whatever who was next in line. So to give it legitimacy, he got sworn in as president just so he could appoint that general as the secretary of whatever and then quit. Yeah, it was very Game of Thrones. I always save the boring history for the middle question. My last question is, the Yucatan Peninsula got its name because Spanish explorers asked them what it was called, and the Mayans there told them it's Yucatan. In the language of Yucatec Maya, what does Yucatan mean? Is it A, please leave, B, I don't know what you're saying, or C, and you are...
A?
Please leave. Excellent guess. According to legend, it's actually, I don't know what you're saying. because the Europeans got there and were immediately the most obnoxious tourists ever. And that ends my segment. Claude goes on a tangent.
Nice.
Let me see, what time is it? So, like I said, BeckiJo Neill is performing at Esther's Follies all the time. I have a weekly show every 8 at Hops and Grain Brewing, which is one of our sponsors, so round of applause for them. Also, round of applause for my show that's there. 8 p.m. Hops and Grain, see me. And what upcoming shows do you have?
Really, the only one, I have some that are not on the calendar yet, so I can't announce them, but the Dripping Springs Songwriters Festival is October 19th through the 21st. It's in Dripping Springs. It's on Mercer Street. They have like 5 or 6 different venues on Mercer Street that you can walk to like 2 minutes apart. And so there are like, each show is like 4 or 5 singer-songwriters, and they just do in the round, and then you go to the next show. So it's free. I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorite things to do every year.
October 19th through
October
21st?
19th through 21st.
All right.
There's no Longhorn game that weekend, so just that's a good thing to mention for those that are planning.
Excellent. All right. Facebook, thank you so much for joining us. We have one more song for the live audience here. So thank you, and thank you to our patrons. You can be a patron for as little as $1. So look it up at comediansinterviewingmusicians.live.
Okay, head over to CIMP.live and get your bonus videos, photos, merch, and more. And remember to give the podcast a 5-star rating. Every rating helps these artists get discovered by new fans. You can find all the full videos and past podcasts at musicfirsthand.live. Thanks for listening. See you next time.